Mr. Marsala, I will give you the option of either taking your 2 minutes or you can speak offline with Councilmember Palmer, whichever you prefer. Okay. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Welcome, council members, and as always, thank you for everything you guys do for the city and the time you spend. I come to you today as I'm the newly elected president of the American Italian Federation of the Southeast, which is approximately 20 organizations of Italian, from the Bocce Club to the Cultural Center to, there's a bunch of tombs actually in Metairie Cemetery going back to the 1890s that were put up by the certain cities of Sicily. And my point here is actually both educational and quality of life, because the Sicilians were here for many, about from 1890 to 1920 in the French Quarter in a large quantity. And then now we are actually donating an app. It's on your phone. It can be put on your phone. It's free. It's got 50 stops. We have videos to go with it to showcase everything. We're also going to have a new museum that's going to be opening up at the Cultural Center. And we have markers that are going to go up. We have one that will be at the Jazz Museum. And we look to have a dedication for that around Veterans Day. And I wanted to invite you guys to come to that. Louis Prima exhibit's going on right now. And they will be having something in March to honor Louis Prima. So Italians are fun, you know, pasta, music, good times. And oddly enough, I found out America's first international war hero was a Sicilian from who helped Decatur, Stephen Decatur of Decatur Street. And we'll talk about that at Veterans Day. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. I think my colleagues will agree with you that Sicilians are fun, right, guys? I mean, you're all in on that one?
We love Sicilians, we love Italians, and we love Italian history. I know my office sent you an email yesterday regarding this, and I'll just state publicly what I would like to see. We have an incredible storied history in the city of New Orleans, and especially around Jackson Square. So much so that, have you ever heard of Jordan B. Noble? He was born a slave, and he was African American, and he volunteered for the Battle of New Orleans in 1812 and became the military drummer for the Battle of New Orleans. In fact, and that was actually a position of honor, because you would actually, through drumming, you would send the orders out. So whatever the orders of the commanders were, you were sending them out. And he became an actual hero of New Orleans. And in fact, on top of that, we had incredible free people of color provided their own regiments for the Battle of New Orleans.
I'm very aware of that.
And also enslaved Africans. And in fact, we wouldn't have won the Battle of New Orleans if it wasn't for this part of our history. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that nowhere in Jackson Square is that story told. Also, nowhere in Jackson Square is a true story told of Andrew Jackson and what certain ideals of America allowed him to do to Native American population, which should also be marked somehow. But I also don't feel that me as a council member or different groups should, in silos, create what should be told and what should not be told. And I'm very, very excited that you are highlighting Italian American history, and you're being so positive about it. I've often said, you know, in a city that has a statue in my neighborhood to Louis Armstrong, it'd be wonderful to have one to Louis Prima. We have the two Louis. What I would like to see is a clear and open process that is done in conjunction with the Historic New Orleans Collection, the African American Museum, yourself, Al Jackson, even the Free People of Color Museum, to figure out how and what process should be used in order to tell our amazing story. Because I think we should use your enthusiasm and the enthusiasm of so many groups to truthfully and inclusively tell the entire story of, if we want to talk about Jackson Square, it has to be inclusive of the Battle of New Orleans and also what happened in that place, originally called Place d'Armes. So I would like that to occur. My office will facilitate it. I will be calling and reaching out to many people, but I would like to see a very clear process on how we would do this.
I didn't see your emails. I was taking care of other business.
We responded.
Okay. And, you know, that process, there are some other markers going up. As you know, the 2018 NOLA Foundation put up 6 markers for the slave trade.
I know. I assisted with that effort as well.
Okay.
So, yes, I'm very aware of it, but what I would like to see is a process. I look at Jackson Square, the French Quarter, and the city as not sufficiently telling the entire story of the city of New Orleans and her people, and especially within the African American population. So I would like to use this opportunity to ensure that we tell the story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marsala.